Good morning, everyone. I just want to welcome you to our weekly legislative update program. Our chair for 2022 is the Honorable Jeff Miller. Jeff is a former state assembly member, and he has worked on both sides of the aisle. He understands legislation as well. He's been a successful business owner, so he understands what it takes to accomplish a budget, to pay the bills, to sign the front side of a check more so than just an employee. Many of our electeds are employees only, and they don't quite understand or grasp when they put things into law or propose bills to be put into law. So Jeff Miller has stepped up to be our volunteer chair of our legislative action. This is a weekly effort to give business briefings. We try to keep them to a 30-minute or less time frame. Occasionally, we will go over that time. And Jeff will introduce the other players that are part of this today. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Honorable Jeff Miller. You're muted, Jeff. There you go.
Thank you, Bobby. Welcome, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Exciting pre-Super Bowl. Supporting my team. There we go. Go Rams. Pre-Super Bowl business briefing. So I'd like to get right into it and thank our sponsor for today's meeting is Kaiser Permanente. Kaiser has been providing high-quality healthcare and coverage for over 75 years. When everything about your healthcare, including your health plan, is connected, everyone is equally invested in your total health. As Kaiser says, when our members thrive, everybody wins. Thank you, Kaiser Permanente, for sponsoring this meeting. As a reminder, please use the chat button to ask any questions of the host and me or Jeff Gibson, anybody else, and we'll make sure it gets asked at the appropriate time. Now, I would like to introduce Vice President of Communications and Events Extraordinaire, Stephanie Shapiro.
Thank you so much, Jeff, and happy Wednesday, everybody. I just wanted to take a moment to tell you about a few things we have coming up. One thing we're actually doing today, this afternoon, at 1 o'clock here at the Chamber, is we're going to be having a presentation from the District Attorney's Office about the Fair Chance Act. It's about hiring practices and what you can and can't ask on a job application for any business of 5 or more employees. So we do have a couple spots left. If you'd like to join us for that, Anthony can put the link in the chat. It is free to attend. Also, next week, we're going to be diving further into the new labor laws that employers locally need to know about. Of course, a lot of stuff gets covered on this call, but we're going to go, like I said, a little bit deeper into the nuts and bolts of what our employers need to know. This is a virtual event, free to attend. So we definitely encourage you to sign up so that we can make sure that you are following the laws and are not going to incur any fines or issues in your business practices. Next week, we also have a seminar here at the Chamber. It's called Coffee with an Entrepreneur, and we'll be featuring Alvin and Joy Ayusa. But I'm not going to tell you anything about it because we actually have a video clip to show you. Anthony?
Hello, Corona. This is Alvin Ayusa inviting you to have a coffee or probably a date with an entrepreneur on February 14, 2022, Valentine's Day. I am the president and CEO of Just for Kids Preschool in Corona, California. Together with my wife, we administer 3 locations of Just for Kids Preschool. Join me in sharing with you how we've started in this business, what is our company's mission in the communities we serve, and discuss how important the childcare industry is during these trying times of the pandemic. We happen to have authored as well a simple short book for parents in choosing a childcare center for their children. This is an essential guide to finding the best fit for your children and your family. We will be bringing some copies to give, and we hope that you share this book to friends and families who are looking for a top-notch childcare center in Corona. Thank you so much to the Corona Chamber of Commerce for this opportunity to share, and we're excited to meet you and tell you our journey in this industry that is filled with hearts. See you there.
Thank you so much for that, Anthony. So this one's a double whammy for you. Every month we do co-host this with the City of Corona, and we get to hear an entrepreneur's journey. But this month we're also going to dive a little deeper because, as you all know, childcare issues are workforce issues. So this will be a really great one to attend, and we hope to see you there this coming Monday, Valentine's Day. We will celebrate the Day of Love together. And finally, I just wanted to put on your guys' radar that we are hosting Corona Night with the Angels versus Dodgers on Sunday, March 27th. It is a preseason game at the Big A. We have tickets available now. They are discounted from what you would find on the Angels website yourself. You can pick your ticket seats directly. We do have certain sections reserved for our Corona community, so we hope to see you there. That is all I have today for announcements. So I'd like to turn it over to our Membership Development Coordinator, Robert Yanez, to talk about membership. Robert?
Thank you so much, Stephanie, and thank you all for being on this call today. Definitely want to have everyone on these calls weekly. If you're a business here in Corona and are not yet a member, reach out to me, Robert Yanez, here at the Corona Chamber. And for those of you who are members, if you have anybody that's interested, please have them contact me, because all of you know that are on this call and that have been on these calls, our strength is in our numbers to get some of these bills either passed or not passed. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to our events and sponsorship specialist, Tammy.
Thank you very much, Robert, and thank you everyone for being here. We're excited for events that are coming up. And we're excited to be able to give you a chance to be able to network and actually promote your business and get some contacts that you've never had before at our Good Morning Corona and also our golf tournament. And if you want details, definitely get a hold of me or Robert for those. But if you want some affordable ways to be able to actually promote your business ongoing, we have a phenomenal email blast that goes out every Monday. We have our Corona Business newspaper. That's a great way to get word out there, and many other ways that we can help you. So definitely get hold of myself or Robert, and we can get you plugged in and get you off and running to get more business coming in for your business. And thank you, and I'll turn it back to Jeff.
All right. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Robert. Hey, Stephanie, I have a question. On the presentation on the labor issues, you said it was with the district attorney's office?
And so we have two different things. Today, it's about hiring practices, and that's with the district attorney's office. Next week, we have labor laws new for 2022.
Okay.
And that's with an employment attorney.
Will today's presentation be taped so it can be sent out to everybody on the call?
Unfortunately, it will not be. There's some proprietary stuff that they're going to be sharing that we are not able to distribute. So that's why I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention. I know we've talked about it before, but now it's here, and I just want everybody to have a chance if they would like to attend.
All right. So, sorry to put you on the spot.
No, you're good.
I'd like now to turn it over to our CEO of the Chamber, Bobby Spiegel.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff. I am very excited to be able to share that this next Friday, not 2 days from now, but a week from now, we have America's Sheriff coming to speak to our chamber. Chad Bianco is known for his toughness on crime, on making sure that we're one of the safest counties in America. And we have been growing rapidly. With that growth, we're very fortunate to have a sheriff that stands up for what's important, protecting your business. He's going to specifically be talking about the smash and grabs. Fortunately, we have not been real big victims of that yet in this area. It's just a matter of time. He's going to share some tips that will be good for all people, whether you are a retailer, a business that has products that could be stolen, or as a consumer, and what to do and what to look for. So I would encourage you all to register. The bit.ly is on the screen there. Anthony has put it in the chat. We would love for you to register. It does help us. If you do register by this Friday, you will be saving extra money on the registration. But in addition, it helps us because of the catering needs. This does include a breakfast, and it just helps us tremendously. So anyone that's interested, please register for that. And if you've got any questions, feel free to connect with me. Thank you so much, Jeff, and thank you to the team.
Thank you, Bobby.
Hey, could I just brag one more moment?
Of course.
Stephanie was very shy on a couple of things, but I did want to mention this last week we were in Phoenix, Arizona for a Western Association Chamber Executives Conference, and Stephanie received her 10-year portion of being involved in the chamber industry. More importantly, though, the chamber was recognized for our communication efforts. So we received honorable mention for our printed newspaper that comes out every 2 months. We received first place for our website. And I just want to give a shout out. We were tied at first place for all communications. So that is 20 different states throughout the United States, as well as Canada. And it's a big, big plus to what Stephanie and her team has done. And I think Andrew's on the call. He plays a big part in this as well. But I just want to applaud them for being creative and on the forefront of everything. Thank you.
All right. Way to go, Stephanie. See, that's why I called you extraordinaire. Now I'm going to put our chair on the spot, if she doesn't mind. Chair of the Chamber Board, Paul Bender Badesha. We got a few words for everybody, Paul Bender?
You love putting me on the spot, Jeff Miller.
I do.
I just, if I sound a bit wonky, I just had some teeth removed yesterday. And I will say that I'm tempted to get other body parts removed. I love the sleep that you get under anesthetic. I haven't had enough of that. So if you see me walking, anyway, it does help me cope with all the chamber stuff too, right? But no, I just wanted to say how excited and honored I am. I know it's an overused word and humble, but that I have the privilege of being chairperson this year. We have an amazing leadership under Bobby Spiegel and his extraordinary team. So they make the job so much easier. And so I really don't have that much to do except run my business. And I think, as you know, our motto is creating jobs and building a stronger community. And as we all agree, when somebody has a job in a community, it puts food on their table, it builds many, not just one community, but many layers of communities. So, and that there's enormous challenges with that. And as the chamber, we're here to support you in tackling those daily minutiae legislation. And I cannot, as I said at the installation, I cannot imagine having run this business and not being part of the chamber. I think I would have folded long before. It's lonely being in business, it's lonely being in leadership, and we all need each other to survive it. So thank you.
Thank you, Paul Bender. I appreciate that. Before we get into the meat of the matter and I introduce Jeff Gibson, I like to recognize the nonprofits that are on the call in town. Our nonprofit organizations are so vital to the health of our community, the fabric of our community. I'd like to thank Peppermint Ridge for jumping on the call. Jim, thank you. Maybe you can put a contact information in the chat. If somebody is able to donate or get involved, they'll have your contact information. And Annie, are you representing 100 Mile Club? Yes, so 100 Mile Club, thank you very much for attending. Annie, if you want to put contact information in, people can donate or get involved, feel free to do that. Okay, I think I got everybody. All right, I'd like to introduce Jeff Gibson. For 32 years, Jeff has specialized in legislative, political, government affairs, and has specialized in areas in transportation, housing, endangered species, and a variety of political issues that he has worked on and is currently working on. With that, I'd like to introduce Jeff Gibson from Occidental Communications Group. Take it away.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Let me make sure I'm not muted. That happens from time to time in this highly technical world. So good morning to everybody. Go Rams. Somebody had hacked my account earlier and put Go Bengals, but you know, we've recovered it, luckily. So let's jump right in here as we're a little tighter on time. We have a lot of good news in today's legislative special, and then hopefully Anthony got the last slide. We had an issue pop up just before the presentation today, and we'll get into that as well. So jumping into it, what we decided to do is to look over all of the issues that we've been working on for the last year. Since the last time we met, the legislature had a very important deadline in which bills in their original form, as we know, they can always come back. Bad ideas in Sacramento are even worse than zombies. They continue to come back and come back and come back and haunt you forever. And they definitely eat brains. So this is very much a threat to all of us, but there were a number of issues that we declared temporary victory on last year that I wanted to run through very quickly and show that we've won a second victory over them, and hopefully the new year will bring another victory as well. We've talked about the single-payer healthcare bill, which died in the Assembly without a vote. That is the first one up, AB 1400. We talked about SB 213 last year, which is a huge expansion of workers' compensation in the healthcare industry. It has been amended, but it's still moving forward in the Assembly. SB 31 and 32 are the electrification of every commercial building in California. The big piece of the puzzle there, of course, is these bills are trying to get to the point where if you make any major improvement, any improvement that would require a city permit, that cities and local agencies would be requiring you to remove all appliances that use any other form of energy other than electricity. So if you go in for a small update of a kitchen, a commercial kitchen, for instance, you need to remove a refrigerator and put in a new one. They would come along and say, okay, well, this is great. You're allowed to put that new walk-in freezer in with this permit, but you also now have to take out all of your cooking equipment that uses natural gas. That is a very real threat. That's something that we're looking at, and in its original form, both of those died in the Senate, but the California Utilities Commission, or the Public Utilities Commission, for instance, is looking at requiring that anyway. So there's a couple different ways that that's going. AB 286, which is transparency in food delivery, was heavily amended. AB 1074. I'm going to go a little fast just because we've had a number of victories this last week and a half. So it's been a little bit of a flurry, but we do want to spike the ball like Joe Burrow is going to do in the fourth quarter. And I'm just trying to see if Mr. Miller is paying attention. So
you want to bet on that?
I don't bet. I think my choice of professions shows that all of my wagering is on whether or not the employers on this call and across California will be able to stay in business. So
I'll take it.
Okay, so we have a couple of corporate tax increases here that we've been tracking: ACA 8, AB 1253, and AB 71. AB 310. These essentially, we could cut right through each of those with, they want your money. And these are all corporate and wealth tax hikes in the title. All of those are being All of those have died except for ACA 8, which stands for Assembly Constitutional Amendment. Constitutional amendments are considered differently. They can be brought up on the floor. But the reason they can be considered differently, they usually go through a committee process, but ultimately they are going to be going on a ballot because they're a constitutional amendment. And so the legislature gives itself a little bit more flexibility to look at what they're going to be putting on the ballot. That is still alive. Otherwise, all of those tax proposals of last year have died in the legislature. And again, we've said that they can come back, but for now, at least, we can see that the legislature has decided that they do not want to take action on those. Moving forward, the $6.5 billion one-time bonus for healthcare workers died in the Assembly. The adding family responsibility and allowing your employees to determine whoever is their family, including their next door neighbor, on required insurance policies died in the Assembly. The ban on new oil development, I don't know if anyone has noticed, but I decided recently to get my driver's license and learn to drive. It was a big step for me. But I was really surprised that gas is $4.95 on average in the state of California. So the permanent ban on new oil development died in the state Senate. The extension of bereavement leave to an additional 5 days for any person that you may know. Let me repeat that. There was a bill sponsored by the Assembly Majority Leader that would allow you 5 days off for any person you may know. So if you were reading about it in the newspaper and you got really verklempt that someone passed away, you could take up to 5 days of paid leave. That died in the Assembly. And so those leave bills have moved on. Now there is a sick leave bill, and moving on to the second slide here. Hopefully, Anthony, you got it. And I would really like to give a shout out to Anthony. The slides came in very late today, so thank you very much for being on the spot there. I think everything Bobby says about you I defend you every single time he says something. So since March 1st, 2020, the state of California has paid over $180 billion in unemployment claims, of which there were over 26 million claims filed. So we have a active labor market of approximately 18.9 million on average over the course of the lockdown. We have a little bit over 19 million people in the labor force right now. That's the equivalent of every person in the labor force since March 1st, 2020, filing an unemployment claim, and then deciding every third person in the labor force deciding that they would file a second labor claim. Now, I am absolutely sure I lost clients. A lot of us lost business. I don't want to make light of that, but that is a breathtaking number if it is true that is the equivalent of the people that filed unemployment insurance claims. This gets back to our discussion about fraud in government. On top of it, of those claims, those generated $180 billion in benefit payments. That is roughly equal to the 2019, so to Governor Newsom's, basically his first general fund budget of 2019. So between 2020, March 1st, 2020, and today, essentially a 2-year period, we paid an amount in just unemployment insurance as a state equal to the 2019 budget of everything that we paid for. Whether it's, I would normally say roads, but we paid about $2.5 billion in road fixes in 2019. So I mean, it's a breathtaking number of the type of investment that we make in this state. I'm not arguing about it. I just want everybody to understand It's a breathtaking number of what we invest in this state in the safety net. And that is my way of introducing that the recently introduced extension of sick leave of an additional 5 days has been passed and has been signed into law by the governor and will be implemented shortly. So again, as we work for you to try and cut down on these bills, we say very often that we understand that we live in California, that California has a very advanced social safety net and a progressive way of looking at legislation. We understand that, but we are still here. But we want to point out that we are making substantial investments as a state in the unemployment systems, in the social safety net systems, and that every extension beyond that that is passed, kind of portraying that we aren't investing enough, isn't looking at the historic level of investment that we are making. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. I know we covered a lot of issues, but essentially all but about 3 bills that we were concerned about at the end of last year have died. And now we are on to the next raft of bills that I am sure we will be concerned about. So in any case, happy to answer any questions.
Anthony?
Thank you, Jeff. There are no questions at this time.
No questions. Okay.
No questions.
Okay.
All right.
So can you go back to the first slide?
Sure. Bengals 37-13. Was that the slide?
You're killing me. Okay.
Jeff Gibson. Jeff Gibson, just remember Jeff Miller approves your payment requests.
Sure.
So who's going to win?
I do. Bengals 37-13.
Yeah.
I say that as a lifelong Rams fan until I was at their last game in 1994 before they shuffled off to St. Louis, which St. Louis used to be the gateway to the West, and then it was the gateway to the Midwest, and now St. Louis isn't even the gateway to East St. Louis. So in any case, go ahead.
All right. So I just want to point out on this particular slide, if you notice on the left-hand column, there's only one item there that we have a support on. Most of these bills we oppose because they're dangerous and they have significant implications to our business community. You know, I can tell you when I was in Sacramento, I was criticized a lot for opposing these type of bills. But when you start peeling back the onion and seeing what's in there, and that's what we're trying to do on this call, and the work that we do in the Legislative Affairs Committee, is try to peel that onion back so we know exactly what's going on and how it's going to directly impact negatively or positively our employers. So I just wanted to point that out. And then, Jeff, I don't know if you want to touch on yesterday, you know, the legislature sent a COVID-19 supplemental sick pay leave bill to the governor.
That was what I was addressing in the
okay.
Yes. So yeah, it's SB 114.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The governor has endorsed it. It is moving through the process. The legislature has one of the things that I'd like to address, and you'll notice if Anthony's got the sick leave extension, you'll notice that there was a spike in the middle of both of those graphs and a quick downturn on both of those graphs. The top graph are the claims that have been filed, and those reached a sudden peak mid-September of last year. And as we've discussed many times, federal studies again and again and again show that there's a direct correlation with the number of unemployment claims filed and the running out of benefits. And if you look on the blue graph right there, those are benefits that are paid. And so you can see all of those charts that both charts move in sequenced together, but you'll notice that the chart that is in blue has a much higher distribution on the left side than the right side, where it's nearly equal. What happened there was in mid-September, all of the additional federal funding and state funding for unemployment ran out. And as you can see, there's almost 100% correlation between the chart on the top and the chart on the bottom, that on those dates that the benefits ran out, now you're getting to the people that you would consider normally to be unemployed. And that's what the system is for. And that's why we fight for what we're trying to do. Is we're not trying to be mean. We're trying to make sure that the aid that we all work very hard to pay our taxes to diligently be good citizens, that the aid goes to the people that are diligently in need of it. And that's always our concern. So if that helps. But yes, SB 114 is going through the process and we are tracking it.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Any new questions pop up, Anthony?
No new questions have arose.
Okay. Let's get moving and get you folks back out into your business so you can make some money. Please reach out to our legislators, Assemblymember Sabrina Cervantes and Senator Richard Roth. Their information is up on the screen. And when we get these, I should point out a lot of those bills that died were because of our efforts, your efforts in writing our assembly member, writing our senator, letting them know that you support or oppose a particular bill. So that's why we're going to be diligent on this for this year to keep that progress up. And but feel free to reach out to our legislators as you deem fit. Before we end today's program, I just want to thank a few folks from jumping on the call. Former council member, former mayor, Jason Scott. Thank you, Jason. Annette Dumont from the Riverside County Office of Education. Thank you, Annette, for coming on. I saw Dr. Monica Green was on earlier, president of Norco College. And I would like to give a shout out to one of our largest employer in town, the Corona Regional Medical Center, the CEO, Sam Matani. So thank you, Sam, for jumping on that call. With that, we would like to thank again today's sponsor. There they are, Kaiser Permanente. Healthcare doesn't have to be complicated. Get convenient, high quality care designed to keep you healthy. Learn more at kaiserpermanente.org. Next week's briefing is February 16th. Go Rams, and you folks go out and make some money. Thank you very much.
Thank you all so much for being on.